Hello children, how are you all? I hope you are fit and fine and studying also. This is your English grammar class, as you all know, and we are learning models. And in our earlier video we have studied verb and its kind and the helping verb, and this time we are using model. We are learning models. So in models we have already studied uses of may and might, can and could, and now we are on the will and shall. This topic for today is will and shall, and if I am going to tell you that I'll come your house today, so it is my promise, or am I going to say that you shall come to the class? So you shall come to the class, so this is my suggestion to attend the class. And if I am telling you I will come to your home today, so this is my promise, or you can say it's my assurance. So first use of will and shall, these are models, and we are going to show the assurance, to express the assurance, express the promise and suggestions also. So this we have to learn, because will and shall, it is not only used in the future tense, but it is also used as models to making sentences to express the suggestions or our assurance and promises. And the second point we are going to discuss, as you all know, it is so simple that we have studied in the class 5 also. Express simple future tense. Will, from will and shall we can express future, simple future tense. In Hindi you can say the gaagegi, main aunga. So this is future tense. So the action which is not done in present, in past, but it will done in future, that is denotes that will and shall. So if I am going to write something to express, or you can say the showing the simple tense, so I will go to school. Now here you can see I will go to school. So I will go to school, this is showing that this act or action I will do in the future. So that shows the future tense. Sheila shall come to my house. Now here the shall is using for future tense, and here the probability is less. If we are using will, so it is slight assurance is there that I have promised something, and here we are using shall, so it is less possibility, but it will be done. So this way we can understand will and shall, the uses of will and shall, and after that this concept we are going to learn separately. How can we use will, and how and where we are going to use shall. Now I am going to start with shall. Shall is used to ask the will of the person addressed. It means for asking the will of the other person whom you are addressing, that time we are going to use shall. Shall I bring an ice cream for you? So this is, you are asking the will of that particular person whom you are seated. So that is the best example of uses of shall over there. If you are asking or seeking the will of that addressed person, so that time we are supposed to use shall. Now we are moving to the offer a suggestion. If we are going to give an offer or suggestion to anyone, so that time we should use shall. You shall visit You shall take the advice of the experts. So this time we are giving suggestion. So this time we have to use shall, because we are giving offer, giving offer or suggestion. We are giving suggestion also. So that time we will use shall. And third point we have to notice, seek advice. If we are seeking advice for anyone, so that time we are supposed to use shall over there. If I am giving you example, what shall I do about it? So I am seeking the advice. What shall I do about it? So I am asking something to someone to give advice. So that time we will use shall. And the last point is indicate obligation. Whenever you have to show or indicate obligation, or you are going to show your obligation to anyone, that time we are using shall. So you can write the party shall pay this amount to that particular activity. So the party shall pay, or the political party shall pay this amount for flood relief fund. So this is showing the obligation. So these 4 points we have to remember always. Shall is used to ask the will of the person addressed and offer a suggestion, seek advice, and the last indicate obligation. We used to write in the application, I shall be highly obliged. So why we are going to use this shall? Because for showing the obligation, we should use shall. So now we are moving to the will. After shall, we are moving to the will. Will is used. Now, as you all know, will is used in the future tense, and some points we have to discuss here. The will as a model is used where and how. So first point, express decision made or intention expressed at the time of the speaking. Now, whenever will is used, it is used to express decision made, that I'll come back in a 1 hour today. So this expression, or you can say the decision I have made, the quick decision I have made to come back in a 1 hour today. So the decision is there made or intention expressed at the time of speaking. That time we are continuously talking with someone, but I am giving a particular time to express or to made my decision that I'll come back within a 1 hour today. So that is called express. If we are moving to the second point, predict, it means prediction. If I am going to give one example over here, you will become a famous businessman one day. So here you can see I'll show my prediction by using of will. You will become a famous businessman one day. So it is my prediction. I am predicting something. So that will happen in the future, but I am very assured about it. So that is why I am predicting something. So prediction is shows by use of will. If we are using will, so for prediction, that is the best use of will over here. You will become a famous businessman one day. So it is showing the prediction also. For show the prediction, we will use will. And the third point is formally announce some future plans. To announce our future plans, for that we are going to use will. If The sentence is, the President of India will inaugurate this plant on Monday. So this is, you can say, the formally announce some future plans. If I am going to give the another example, that Prime Minister will come to Varanasi on 15th of August or Independence Day. So this is the future plans of Prime Minister. So formally announcement of future plans. That time we also use will. So this we have to learn these 3 points. One more point is also left. I am going to write over here. The use of will. Will is used. The last point, to indicate habits and characteristics. To indicate habits and characteristics also. So here you can say, will is used to indicate habits of someone. Okay, and characteristics means the quality of somebody. That time we will also use will. Now he will have a cup of coffee after every supper. So this sentence is showing the habit of the particular person. This person will always have a cup of tea after supper. So this shows the habit of particular person. So if I am going to ask you, will I start a lesson or shall I start a lesson? So I think will I start a lesson is an accurate word or sentence to start a lesson. Shall, it's having a probability, is not very sure. So now we are going to study that how we can use shall and how we can use will to make questions. First of all, in first example you can see, shall we wait for you? Here you are initiate an offer. You are offering someone, you are asking someone, shall we wait for you? And here, will I get a call for him? So I am quite assured that will I get a call for him. I am quite assurance is there. Here we are asking or seeking someone's permission, and here we are assured that will I get a call for him? So probability is more than this shall. Now we are moving to the second point, second example. Shall we invite him for party? We are asking or we are seeking the permission that shall we invite him for party? And now here you can see, will we receive an invitation for the party? We are very much confirmed about it that we will receive that invitation for the party. So here you can see the difference between the uses of shall and will. Shall, less possibility, and will, here you can see more possibility. In two you can see the possibilities are there, but here shall, with shall, less possibility. We are asking the other person's will, then we are going to do something, and here it is not about will or any type of offer. We are just asking, and I am quite assured about it that I will get this. So this difference you can understand by this two examples. Now we are moving to the exercise, which you can find on page number 60. It is based on will and shall, uses of will and shall. Fill in the blanks with will or shall. Now first, now on the basis of will and shall that we have learned today, on the basis of that we are going to solve the exercises. On page number 60, you just take out your book, Mastering Grammar book, page number 60. Exercise number C. Fill in the blanks with will or shall. So here the first exercise is dash I buy you a cup of tea. So here we are seeking the permission. So we are going to write over here shall. Now second, I dash return after a year. I will return after a year, because here it expresses the duration. So that is why we are going to use will. Now third, the chief minister dash preside over the meeting on Tuesday. So here will, because it's talking about the future plans. So will. Fourth, the child is a genius. He dash become a great scientist when he grows up. Now here we are doing prediction, and in prediction, as you all know, we are using will. So now we are going to write will. The child is a genius. He will become a great scientist when he grows up. Now we are moving to fifth. Fifth dash I ask the police to help you find your purse. So shall I. Fifth is shall I. Shall I ask the police to help you find your purse. Now we are going to start learning use of should and would. As you all know, these are all past equivalent of shall or will. So in the past equivalent, if we are writing shall, so its past tense is should. If we are writing will, so the past tense of will is would. Now, first point, I think it is clear to you. Now we are moving to second point. To express duty and obligation. To show the duty and obligation, we are supposed to use should. This will use to show the duty and obligation. Now I am going to give you example that you should obey the rules of class. So here you can see the example, you should obey the rules of class. It is you can say that it is showing your duty that you should do this, because there are some certain rules in the class and you should obey or abide with that rules. So that time we are supposed to use should. Now we are moving to the next point. Now here you can see should is used to suggest, to give advice or ask suggestion or advice. Now I am going to give you one example. You should exercise regularly. Now here you can see you should. Should is used to give advice or suggestion. Now if I am going to write to ask the suggestion, that should you should if should I exercise daily. So here we are asking the advice or suggestion from someone, or you should exercise regularly, I am giving advice or suggestion to someone. So should is used in both types of sentences. when we are asking some suggestion, then we are supposed to use should, and then we are going to give some advice or suggestion to anyone, that time we also use should. Now, after the use of should, we are moving to the uses of would. Now, as you all know, this is the past equivalent of will, so it is called would. Now, the second point we have to focus on that it indicates the past habit or characteristics of someone. So, he would walk around 1 hour after taking the dinner. So, we are talking about the past habit of someone. Suppose I am going to write over here the examples. He would take a walk every morning. So here you can see we are talking about the particular person's habit. So that time we are using would. Now if the polite request is there, I would like to give a speech. So this is my polite request to give a speech. So that time we are using would. I would like to give you a gift. Now here you can see I would like to give you a gift. This is my polite request that I would like to give a gift. So that time we should use would over here. So these two uses we have to remember. First is that to indicate the past habit or characteristic of someone, and the second point is to use the would is used in polite request. That time we will use would. Now after discussion of shall and should models, we are moving in next models, that is must and ought. They are very important models and we should learn today that how we are going to use and when we are going to use these two models. Now first is we are just start talking about must. How we are going to use must? We are going to use must to express a strong obligation. Now wherever we are having a strong obligation, we must use this. So if I am going to write over here, you must improve your handwriting. So you can see over here that you must improve your handwriting. It is must to improve your handwriting for your progress. So that is why, because it's having a strong, it expressing the strong obligation about that handwriting or about your handwriting. That is why I have used over here must. So we are emphasizing on your handwriting improvement. That is why we are using must over here. Now we are going to the next point, express a necessity. Whenever we have to express the necessity, or you can say it is necessary for us to do this. So we are emphasizing on our necessity. So that time we are supposed to use must over here. So you must require a fire extinguisher. Now here you can see you must require a fire extinguisher. It means you need it. It is your necessity to have it. So that is why we are emphasizing on the particular object that you must have. That time we are supposed to use must. Wherever the extreme necessity is there, or wherever we are having to express the strong obligation, that time we use must. So these two type of uses of must we have to remember always. Now we are moving to the ought. Where and when we are going to use ought. So now we are going to talk about ought. Express moral duty. First of all, we should understand ought. Whenever we are going to use to express our moral duty, we are supposed to use ought. So first point is to express moral duty. For example, if I am going to tell you, you should, you ought to follow fundamentals rules. You ought to follow fundamentals rules. So this is the meaning that you should follow. But because we are using to express the moral duty, that is why I am telling you, you ought follow fundamental duties, or you ought to fulfill fundamental duties. So I am going to write, you ought to fulfill fundamental duties. As you all know, there are fundamental rights, and along with fundamental rights we are having fundamental duties also. So you ought to follow the traffic rules, you ought to follow the regulations of constitution. So this type we can use because it is your moral duty to follow. There we are going to use ought. Now the second use of ought is express possibility. Express possibility. Where we find possibility. There are so many models to show or express the possibility, as we have already learned. But this ought is also used to show the possibility. Where we are going to use this? We are going to use this. This book ought to be very useful. This book ought to be very useful. So, I am giving you an example. This book ought to be very useful. And next example, the project ought to benefit all. Now here you can see two examples are here. This is showing the possibility. This book ought to be very useful. We are showing the possibility if you will buy this book, it will help you. So that is why we are using here ought, because it's showing or expressing the possibility. If you will get it, it will be very helpful for you. So here this book ought to be very useful. Now the second example, the project ought to benefit all. The project ought to benefit all. It means if the project is set or it will be work, it will work. So then it ought to beneficial for all. So here this sentence is also showing the possibility. That is why we have used over here ought, and here also ought. So we have learned today must. Must is show the or express the strong obligation, and the second must is used to for necessity, and here ought to is used to express moral duty first of all, and second express possibility. So these points we have to learn, and these points are very useful for you because you have to know the difference between ought and must. Must and ought are similar models, but their uses are different. Must is used to show the strong obligation and to show the necessity, and ought is used to show, to express moral duty, and the second point which we have discussed, to express possibility. So that's all for today. You just revise it and complete your exercises also.